Welcome to the latest video, and in this lean lesson what we're going to be talking about is first in, first out. Now I'm going to admit to you that this is a bonus video, so although I've slotted it in a particular place, this video actually is recorded after all the others had been edited, and it's because I was working on those videos and suddenly pops into your head these little lean tricks, these little lean tricks that are just there that sometimes you forget all about. So this lean lesson is FIFO, first in, first out. And I guess that this is a lean lesson for production. You could of course use it in the warehouse, and of course first in, first out really is a principle that you should be using in the warehouse. But actually what I'm really talking about is production scheduling. One of the issues with production, and I was just thinking about this as I was looking at a flow video, production will cherry pick the fastest job, the best job, the biggest batch size in order to get and maximize their productivity numbers for the week. And of course, if what you've got is, let's say it's only 3 production areas. So you got production area A, production area B, production area C, and of course what they've all got, let's put this at the front of A, they've all got a work to list, a series of orders. Now of course what really should happen is that A takes the first job on the list and they process it, and that would end up being the last job on this list. It eventually works to the top of the list, it gets processed, and of course it goes on the bottom of the list here, and eventually it works to the top of the list. Now if you do first in, first out, what do you get? What do you achieve? Well, of course what you achieve is the planned lead time through the system, and therefore on-time delivery. On-time delivery. But if what you do is A cherry picks this order, let's give it a different color here. A cherry picks this order, sends it over to B. Then when B, so it's effectively arriving early at B. But when B gets it, they go, we don't like this thing, we'll do this last, that's the hardest thing for us to do. Then when it goes over to C, C quite likes it, and they decided to do it a little bit earlier as well. Well, the very fact of taking this out of order, if you do this first, this job, what happens to it? Well, it's got to get delayed. And of course, what you might do is take the blue order first, then you take the green order, then you take the black order, and you completely ignore the red order that was supposed to be the first produced. Well, if you do that, then do the same here, then do the same here, you've got to ask the question, what happens to your delivery over here? All of your deliveries, if you take it out of order, have got to be a rip-roaring disaster. Production scheduling, first in, first out. Standard work. It's a rule and it should be adhered to. To be honest, if you've watched the other rule about the batch size calculations, what you would know is every batch size becomes an identical time. So if you create situations where, because of your setup time and your batch size calculations, every job produces, let's say, 3 hours worth of production time, if that's the way you've set it up. Well, of course, that standard rule, that standard work feeds into this piece of standard work, because now there isn't a job to cherry pick, because every job has got the same setup time and the same run time. Whereas, of course, if what you do is you make them all different, then when these jobs appear here on this work to list, what can production see? They can see long runners against short runners, and they don't want to do them. They go, oh, I don't want to do the short runner, let's cherry pick the long ones. Then maybe the work to list gets refreshed and another couple of long jobs pop up, and they cherry pick again. And this red order gets delayed for 10 days when it should have been produced first. What will it do to this? It'll destroy it. First in, first out. How could I forget that particular piece of standard work? It should be in production, it should be in the warehouse. But in particular, if you don't follow first in, first out in production scheduling, you will destroy your on time in full. Take a look at your on time in full. What is it? Is it very good? Maybe you need first in, first out standard work.